First and foremost, that I didn't know much of the opponents. I didn't know much of the differences in climates, and you play under very different circumstances that you do in when we play back in Vancouver, for instance, where we play indoors on turf at the moment. But now we play in Costa Rica, for instance, like first game last year, where the weather is nice and warm, and you play on grass pitches, and it's a little bit different than we used to this time of year at home. So I think just get to learn the competition, what it's about, the teams you're up against. It's a different situation than when you play in the European Conference League, for instance. You normally have a very good feeling of what you're up against, both with the opponent's fans and the atmosphere, but also how they play and playing wise. So I think it is a different competition compared to the Europeans, but it's a great competition though.
Last year, you had such good success on the road when you were the away team in the second legs. Do you have to kind of approach the games differently when you're hosting the second leg and you're the away team in the first?
Yeah, last year when we had the second game at home, we lost the first game. So we were also pretty well off playing the second game at home, right? So it's the first game of two. The margin of error is smaller when you play these ties where you have two games that decides everything. It's not like you have 34 in the league. So the margin for error is of course smaller. We want to secure that we have a good result going back to Vancouver next week. But it's also a little bit tricky if you play a little bit too passive, then you may get into trouble. If you play a little bit too aggressive, you might get into trouble. It's about finding the right balance, I think. But I think a bad thing would be trying to do something completely away from, different from what you normally do. And we'll try to approach the game the same way we normally do. But of course, we know that we have to keep it tight when we play, and also that we want to secure that we have a good result going back home to Vancouver, where we believe that we will have a chance to go through to the next round.
Thank you, Michael. We'll go ahead to Gemma Carson-Smith up next. Go ahead, Gemma.
Hi, Jesper. Nice to see you. Talk to us a little bit about what you can take from the preseason, what you've learned about your team and this particular group heading into tomorrow night's match.
Yeah, I think the preseason was different from last season because we knew each other. Everybody knew how we would like to approach the game and how we normally train, and so we had a little bit of a head start going into this preseason, I would say. Having said that, we also had some, we a couple of players has been going out. Also, some of them who really were profiles for us last year and did well. Ali and Jaden. Sabi didn't, for various reasons, not participate in the preseason games, but we know that we're a team that has a certain style of play, and throughout the preseason, I think that even though the conditions were not optimal for us in Spain this year around, I think that everybody was working well, and we also could see that it was pretty easy for the new players coming in and be accepted in the group and have good relations to the other guys in the group and be well functioning from the start. So I think that was in general, that's what we've seen in preseason. Now it's about getting into the rhythm of game and play pretty fast because we have so many games so tight in the beginning of the season. So it's about get going from the start and not be waiting or anything, and everybody has to be ready to go, and I think they are.
Brian was just saying that having that busy start to a schedule can be a bit an asset, and he thought it was an asset for your group last year. How do you view that? How do you view that as a coach, and how do you manage it when I think you start with 4 games in like 2 weeks or something?
Yeah, in 10 days, yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's good because a lot of the players will have, in 10 days from now, they will have been in real games, participating and played a part. And I think that's very important for going forward. Last year, it was good that we had all these games. It was also we only had them because we because we performed well and we went on to the next stage and to the next stage. So I think last year we benefited from it. All the players got involved and we got a lot of contributions from various players. So I think that was huge. Now, of course, hopefully it will be the same. That we will be ready to go and everybody will be ready to play their part, and we know that it's not going to be 11 players playing 4 games in 10 days. So I think it's nice going into this. I would say though that it's a pretty tough start also for the players and also managing the physicality of it. But yeah, we learned from last year that it can be an advantage and also an asset. I think it's a good thing.
Thanks, Gemma. We'll go ahead here now to Jay January next. Go ahead, Jay.
Hello, Jesper. Nice to see you. Because of the challenge of playing 4 matches in the first 10 days to get this going, but also wanting to have a strong result tomorrow, I'm curious what kind of lineup you're going to go with tomorrow. Are you going to dress a strong lineup? Can you share with us what your thought process is for tomorrow's match as well as these 4 coming up?
Yeah, I'm also pretty curious what will come up of the ball tomorrow of the starting lineup. It's gonna be interesting. Of course, we'll put up a strong lineup. We'll also have an eye on the next games, but we put up a lineup that we believe will fit well to the game we have tomorrow. We always think that we put up a very strong lineup when we put a team on the pitch, and yeah, we are in a fortunate situation that you can always discuss: is this guy the best in this position, or should we play with another one, or who fits into this special game, and what is actually the best lineup? We never know, but we are fortunate that we have a lot of good players that can play, and that's what is important for us right now. And I think the lineup will of course be adequate to us taking this game very seriously, and also it's a competition we would like to see if we can do even better than last year, and if we want to do that, we have to win it also. We have to take it seriously. There's not that much room for error, so we cannot just say, yeah, we go light in a couple of games here and then we focus on the MLS. So we have to be strong already from tomorrow on.
2-part question for you for my last one. How different do you think it'll be having a full season with Thomas on board? Because we saw what he meant to you when he joined in September of last year. And then I remember, I don't know how many times I chatted with you about the fact that you never really had a set starting 11 because of all the injuries that you faced. And yet here again, I don't know if you have another set starting 11 because of Galdi being out and with the changes that have made. Just your thoughts on that, Jesper.
For me, I don't really never think about having a set starting 11. I think sometimes things develop and then you see that some players really play well off each other, and you have players coming in and doing well, and they find good relations, and all of a sudden things are really well functioning. Sometimes you are forced to play with a player. All of a sudden he shows you that might be even the best option on this position. So I think football is not static in my view. I think it's always fluid, and things will be in motion all the time. That's why it's so important that everybody knows their part when they play it. And then we also know over the course of the season that things are up and down. Sometimes we have injuries, sometimes we have players not in the same, rhythm and form as they've been maybe early in the season, and it's just natural. So I don't work with the set starting 11. Also a little bit demotivating, I think, for the group in general. Everybody knows who's going to play every time, and we also want to compete on a daily basis for starting positions. So that was one of the questions. The other one, we have to see, right, with Thomas. First and foremost, he contributed massively when he came in, gave a big spark to everybody, to teammates, to the club, to fans, everybody. So that was great, and the influence he had on us. Also, moving forward, last season was great. And of course, he's a player that wants to push things, and I think definitely having him in is great for a full season. But it's also about acknowledging that we cannot play all minutes with Thomas as well, like all of the other guys, even though we would like to, because it's also what is smart and how to build it up. In the end, last year he was hurt but played anyways, and it's important that we build up from the beginning of the season. And I think Thomas's influence is great, and it's good to have, and it's also good that we have him, over the course of the whole season.
Thank you, Jay. We'll go up next here to Jesper Gomez-Munoz. Go ahead, Jesper.
Hello, Coach. Welcome to Costa Rica. The season begins just last year with a Costa Rican team. Which players do you know on Cartaginés, and how do you feel about this match? Can you handle being the favorites in this series? Thank you very much.
Yeah, we of course followed the Cartaginés since we knew the draw. We have seen they came out to a very good start, especially in the beginning of the season in the Costa Rican League, and then of course now they're out of the cup. Cup games are always pretty special, but you also have to look at, they played a quite similar format with 2 games in the cup that we play in this competition, so that's also something that we looked into. They have some good players. I don't know if I can their names is not something that I will. I'm not that good in Spanish also, so but we have definitely seen that they play with wingers that can take the ball inside and shoot well. They have a strong attacking player that really is attacking the box very hard, and they have 2 players playing off each other and the inside of the pitch, and really would like to play on the inside with some narrow crosses, and also they would like to see if they can win the ball up high and have some fullbacks, especially on the right side, that goes up high and really like to attack as well. So I think it's a good team that has confidence from having a good start, maybe a little bit of a better start than normal in the Costa Rican League, but also it's a team where we hope that we'll be strong enough to eventually prevail over 2 games.
Thank you, Jesper. We'll go up next here to Har. Go ahead, Har. Hi, Har. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. I'm wondering, has Caicedo and Sabli, have they got their visas yet?
I'm wondering the same thing. I think Sabali, yes, is about to be cleared. It's in the process. It's pretty close for them to have gotten their visas and be ready to play for us. I can't confirm anything right now, but I think the latest I heard is that it's pretty close, and that is very good news heading into the season, that they'll be ready going into it pretty soon.
And finally, from me, how are you going to manage your center backs? Because you have a lot of center backs, most of them are healthy. How is that rotation going to work? Because you have Ralph Priso now as a center back, Tristan is healthy, you have a lot of options in the board as well. how do you make sure you have the right combination for all these games that are coming up?
I can't make sure of that, but I will try. So we have, of course, right now, as of this moment, we have Ranko and Bilal out. They're not available. Apart from that, we have down here we have Tristan, Ralph, Matthias, Basti, Jean-Lau, which is nice to have him back. We haven't seen him play games for the Whitecaps yet. We are looking forward for that to see that. Yeah, but sometimes you have a plan for how you will rotate them. If you want to rotate them, sometimes you have to accept that you can plan, because then you get a suspension, an injury, whatever. So I think we're gonna manage. We know about Ranko's injury. Bilal should be a little bit further ahead, and then we'll have plenty of availability. We also know Matthias can play on the fullback and often has done so. I think we are well off in those positions, and let's see if we can find a good way of handling it.
And we'll wrap up here with Fabricio Rosales. Go ahead, Fabricio.
Hi, Coach Jesper. This is Fabricio from Deportes Repetel. What's going to change, for example, because you play against Saprissa last year, so what's going to change against Cartaginés this year?
Hopefully, we're not going to lose the first game. That's hopefully a change we can make, but that's not only up to us, that's also up to Cartaginés. I think, yeah, we were prepared for the game, for the opposition. We also a little bit further ahead than we were last year in how we play, and I think that we also grew over the season last year to become a better finishing as a better team than we started. So I hope that we can find, a way to get the game played in our terms. And then of course we know that Cartaginés, they have some very good players that if we allow them to play up to their strength, then we will have difficulties. But it's always the case in football that things happen, and that a lot of stuff is also random in the games. That's why we play. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to play. So I think we learned from last year that the atmosphere, that the stadium can all of a sudden get very intense and really help the home team. And even though I thought that we had good control in the last part of the game in Saprissa last year, then they managed to score in the end. And especially in that game, I think we slipped a little bit in the tactical things in the end, and that's definitely something that we have to take from last season, that we have to be very good, tactically all through the game.
Yeah, I think everyone's been eager to get back out there. Obviously, we've had a really good season last year, and we made it to the very end and weren't able to capitalize on those situations. So I think everyone's kind of got that hunger, that chip on their shoulder to kind of redeem those games. And we know it's going to be a long, hard season, but I think everyone's excited for it.
You've had a few years' experience now with this competition with the club. What have you learned about playing in these kind of games, especially these away ones?
They can be difficult. I think they're not your usual environment, not like some of the MLS venues that we go to. So we know it can be tough. Elevation, heat, the travel, everything kind of plays into it. And so we just have to do everything we can leading up to the game to prepare and know that, the game's here tomorrow night, but we play them in the second leg back home in Vancouver. So it's a game of 2 or 4 halves at least. So never panic and just stay calm and believe in ourselves.
Thank you, Michael. We'll go ahead to Gemma Kirsten-Smits. Go ahead, Gemma.
Hi, Brian. Talk to us about how things feel different heading into the tournament this year. It feels like there weren't a lot of expectations on you guys as a group this time last season, and perhaps those expectations have been raised both internally and externally this year.
Yeah, obviously, I think the expectations, especially externally, have been raised. I think for us, I think we went into every game last year wanting to win that game, wanting to win that round, and that's the all we can really look at right now is that we have Cartaginés this round, and if we want to achieve anything, we have to get through them first. So we know it's going to be a tough test here tomorrow, and then back home in Vancouver. So that's what the focus is on right now.
What about Cartaginés makes them such a tough test?
I think one that they've been in a flow of games already. They're doing well in their league. That's always going to be a challenge, especially when we've come off a preseason that had some inclement weather influence the games that we were able to play. So yeah, it's going to be a tough test away from home, far heat, altitude. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but I think everyone's ready for it.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Gemma. We'll go ahead to Jay Janor up next. If you have a question, reminder to just use the raise hand function. Go ahead, Jay.
Brian, greetings. You've missed the snowfall in Vancouver today, so lucky you. Hey, I'm curious from your perspective, how different is this team than the one that finished the season last year? I mean, obviously, a loss of Ollie is big, but you got a full year of Thomas Mueller. How do you see this team, and where's it different?
Yeah, like you said, obviously we lose a guy like Ali Ahmed who is so good for us. He's killing it over there in Norwich, and we're all so happy for him. But with the guys we have in locker room, I think we're all confident. I think we brought in a couple of good players. Obviously, like you said, we have Thomas for a full year. Hopefully, Galdi's recovering well, and we can have him for much longer than we had him last year. So I think everyone's really excited to see how we evolve this year again.
Okay, so a busy schedule to start the season off, 4 matches in 10 days. Are you the type of guy who wants to play tomorrow? Are you going to play tomorrow? And how do you see these next 10 days?
Yeah, I'm the type I want to play every game. Obviously, it's up to the coaching staff how they want to put out the lineups. But yeah, as a player, you want to play every game possible. And it's obviously, like you said, it's a lot of games to start the season. It was the same way last year, and I think it helped us. It was kind of a, jumping right into the deep end, just got into the flow of games, and I think it's an exciting time.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Jay. We'll go next to Kazimir Gomez Munoz. Go ahead, Kazimir.
Hello, Brian. Welcome to Costa Rica. You do very well against Costa Rican teams. In 2025, you scored a brace against Saprissa and another against the national team. Why do you so well against Costa Rican teams?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, I had a couple goals against Saprissa, a goal against the national team was it last year? I don't know. I think obviously it's going to be a tough game. Like I said before, these are big moments. This tournament's a big moment. Playing for national team's a big moment. So you always try to play at your best, and I've been able to fortunately do that in the past. So hopefully, can continue doing that. But like I said, it's going to be a tough challenge.
And we'll go ahead to Nathan Vanstone up next. Go ahead, Nathan.
Hey, Brian. Interesting preseason, a little bit of rain along the way, but it is a year where a number of players, 24 returning players, coach is in his second season. Just talk about just the group and everyone being familiar with each other and the expectations for the year.
Yeah, like I've always said, we've always had a core group for the last quite a few years now, and having so many guys return from last year and how successful we were last year, I think helps a lot going into this season. And then obviously we've added a couple of players that hopefully can raise the level even higher. So I think everyone's really excited to see how much further we can take it this year and what we can achieve.
Obviously, the task for Wednesday is still there, but MLS home opener on Saturday and just an opportunity to play in front of the fans for the first time in months.
Yeah, obviously it's exciting to get the season going again. It was a short off season, but at the same time felt long. You miss those games, you miss playing in front of your fans. So everyone's really looking forward to obviously doing what we need to do tomorrow night, and full focus obviously on that. But then again, we play a couple of days later at home, and I think we're all really excited to see our fans again.